Hey, everybody, welcome to Shorthanded. And as you can guess, I'm wearing a jacket. I'm
And
wearing a jacket because we just watched the funeral of the Carolina Hurricanes. They
whoa.
should be called the Carolina
Sure.
Windstorm. They shouldn't even be called a hurricane at this moment. They went into the Eastern Conference Finals. I had a lot of faith that they could make this into something fun or a series or something. And they've been run out of the building worse than Toronto in a game set.
See, you're all dressed up like it's a funeral. I look all homeless because that's what Ron Broadbentimore's feeling right now. They have not won an Eastern Conference game since he was playing. That dates
A
back to
game,
about
by the way,
to,
a game.
a game. They've been swept in like four straight ones, including this one, because they're losing the next game. Okay? I am sick of this. I don't even care. This is why I look like a mess, because like I'm watching this game. I want to die. Like, and then I'm looking at like this right now. There's a guy with a Yankees hat on in the boards. Like, there's no Florida Panthers fans. This is what annoys me. Who likes the Florida Panthers? Like, what is this team about? I'm so annoyed. We're gonna have like Florida in the Stanley Cup for 6 straight years. Nobody wanted this. Maybe somebody did. I don't know who you are, but I didn't. But now I'm like a homeless person because that's how everyone on the Carolina Hurricanes is playing. I want to express my feelings so bad. It's obnoxious. I am so like disappointed and embarrassed. Imagine if you were Rod Brindamore, you coach that team. I mean, you bring that team to a Stanley Cup. They don't win a single game. Dude, let up 5 in straight 3 games. That's a sick joke. Seriously.
I mean, they don't even their spacing's bad. They can't get it through the neutral zone. Florida, they had a 5-minute penalty, and Florida looked like they had five guys on the ice the entire time.
Did
Like
they even
they
get like
couldn't
a
even
shot on there?
they couldn't even get they couldn't generate anything on offense. And
The
here's the
power
other
play
thing.
was horrible.
Here's the other thing that drives me nuts. How many Florida players are injured or got injured in this game to add to the Florida injuries? Because you had another guy take a shoulder into the boards and he got wonked off. He had 2 goals in the game. Number 77.
Mikola.
You know, he was excellent this game, and then he
He's
got
a
injured.
he's a
So I don't know.
defenseman, by the way. He's scoring 2. He's a defenseman. That makes a lot of sense.
So it does if you play Florida style. Um, and then Reinhardt. I
He's
don't. I don't
injured.
think. I don't think he's coming back the rest of the playoffs because of the knee. I mean, it was a bad injury. I know they don't say anything. So you have a serious shoulder injury because when he went into the boards, I
Dude,
mean, he'll get
people were
shot up.
dying today. Dude,
I
and then
and
you see who was it? I think Sean Walker or Jackson Blake. Like, I'm not sure who it was, took him by the neck, threw him into the boards head first onto the corner. That's something I've never seen. And then you have Reinhardt diving in. Oh my gosh. You see it like, no, it was Evan Rodriguez. He dives at the back of the net. He's just like a full dive. People were throwing bodies out there. It was physical, but not on the score sheet. I'm still just so surprised. You put all your heart into like those first 2 series. You don't even like you win 5 against the Devils, you win 5 against the Caps. You come into this game, the only ones that had the goals, like their stars had the goals. You had Seth Jarvis scoring, Sebastian Aho scoring.
But it doesn't matter. You're losing by so much. It doesn't even matter who
Exactly.
scores. I mean, what is it? Six goals in 3 straight games, basically by Florida.
Didn't happen. Like,
I mean,
especially when Brind'Amour's coaching.
he's got to be losing his mind. The biggest thing that I feel right now is Carolina is hexed in the fact that they can't win a game in the Eastern Conference Finals, and Toronto is hexed that they can't even get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You have
Mhm.
2 teams in the Eastern Conference that don't have a path to the Stanley Cup. And then you have Tampa and Florida. The winner of that goes to the cup because everybody else is too busy
Exactly.
tripping on their shoelaces.
Like, what did we say? The winner of that series has gone to the Stanley Cup for the past 6 straight years. It's happening again. It happened
And,
last year. It's happening
and
again.
So I was going to ask you when we talked about meeting up down there for either Miami or Carolina. We're not going to Carolina. Who's going to
Come on.
Carolina to watch the Stanley Cup? Not these
Oh
two guys.
my god,
So,
man, this is a joke.
so Florida is not going to be at home, I believe, based on the points. And Edmonton and Dallas have more points than Florida. So Florida would host game 3 and 4.
But wait,
So
I guess let's not get
yeah,
ahead of ourselves here.
what do you mean?
Carolina, Carolina is down 3-0, but
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
it's not.
They,
I
they
mean,
haven't been close, Nick. They haven't been
there's
close.
there's the guy, this guy,
Everybody's
and his
scoring.
name is LeBron, isn't it? And his name is LeBron James. He came
Oh,
back from
dude,
3-1, so why can't the Hurricanes come back 3-0? Uh-huh.
because the NHL doesn't write a script like the NBA does for their
True,
great
but
players.
here we go. You got Hurricanes. They haven't won the Eastern Conference Finals game like we established 3 straight series, and it's truly an embarrassment. And I think Rod Brindamore might have a gun pointed to their heads in that locker room, just saying,
Here's what I think's going to happen. I think Florida, the only way they lose is they decide they're going to hurt the Carolina Panthers for hurting their players. I mean,
I think it's gonna be a brawl.
Did you
Dude, they were
look
always
at
fighting.
Aho, and he just pointed his head. He goes, "Keep your head up. We're coming after you. We know what you did to one of our guys. You're gonna get it." And
Dude,
we
they
get
are
one more
coming
game.
after them.
We get one more game. We're up 3-0 in the series. Don't put it beyond Florida to say this is the game where we're gonna murder you, because
Yeah,
they're up
but
3-0.
like
They take
the
care of
thing
business.
is,
Get 5-0.
I think Carolina has more physical guys than Florida. So if they get into a brawl, you got Brent Burns, you got Jacob Slavin, they can bring energy, and they have like that sick Carolina Hurricane thing. I love their energy, and if they bring it back to Carolina, all they need is one game. They haven't won a game in so long. So I feel like when you have Rod Brindamore as a coach, it's different. It was closer than a sweep in the series in 2023. Now you have it here. It's just a sweep. Like you can see it. It's been 5 goals, 5 goals, 5 goals. That's unacceptable.
You got to go back to Anderson.
Yeah, and then you put Kochetkov in.
He was too aggressive. The whole game, he was too aggressive. And I understand it worked for a little bit. Then Florida all talked to each other, said, make the extra pass. You're going to get a wide open net.
That's what Florida does. Florida finds how the team plays, just like Edmonton, and then they just fire it at them. They find out how the goalie is. They're just a great they got chemistry. Great team. I just swear. That's almost, and then you see Brad Marchand scoring. Like, what is happening? The Rat is scoring. Like,
on a 2-on-1 breakaway.
Like, they just never stopped scoring. It was just like a boom, 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 boom.
It was such a tidal wave. Like I literally was like, oh, okay, 2-1. This is gonna be interesting. And then I was like, it's 5-1, and it's not even close.
Exactly. I don't get it.
They're just something. Sports psychology. One thing I will advise you in life: take a psych class. I don't care how you do it, whether you're going to be a mathematician, take a psych class, because sports psychology is where it's at. There's something in between these guys' ears. Eastern Conference Finals, they have played so poorly in comparison to how they played in the other 2 series. They would have lost both the series against the Devils and against Washington if they played like this.
Yep,
And
exactly.
I'm going to give credit to Florida. Florida's making them play this way, and I have to just continue to be trial. Toronto had them up 2-0, had 3-1 in game 3 in overtime, had chances and did not finish it. So we're going to watch the Florida Panthers go to the Stanley Cup because Toronto could not play an important game that mattered. Game 5, game 7. I'm looking right at you, and they have a great team. And then I look at this debacle. Like, Florida's not going to play for a week.
Yeah, listen to my words, though. It's never over till it's over. And it is over. I've never seen a series like this before.
I feel like we should do, okay, here's what we should. You know how we're Catholic, so we do Catholic masses for funerals, and then we take you to the graveyard. I feel like we're in the mass. Like they're already dead. We're just saying good words, like you had a good season. Like, you should be very thankful that they took out Washington, although I think
Yeah.
you enjoyed Washington getting swept, but they almost did, losing 4-1.
Mhm.
So we want to remember Carolina for knocking off the team you
I
hate.
But I just don't
Being
see any
appreciative
heart
point.
from them in this series. The
I don't
depth was not coming through. No one is scoring. They just can't get the puck in the net. And I think a big part of that is Sergei Bobrovsky. They've been having a good amount of shots. Like I see how their depth can come through and they can get like these shots to the net. When it comes to Sergei Bobrovsky in the playoffs, I don't understand what he's on. I want what he's have. What is he doing that he can just take every single shot and become the GOAT when it comes into the playoffs? He just activates a switch, man.
is fantastic. That stop he had there had 1-0, and
Oh my gosh, give me a
trying to
break with that.
he had a one-timer, and he was right next to him, and a blocker save. Do you remember that it was like the first period, second period, something like that?
I took a picture of it. I was so
It
annoyed.
was it was a brilliant play by Carolina, and it was a better play by the goaltender. It wasn't like a lucky save, it was just like a brilliant save.
It's
His
crazy.
timing, his movement, to your point, he's just elevating his game. Now,
Mhm.
my question to you about Florida is that these injuries they sustained here in this game. I mean, I thought they had two that were. The other one was the individual. Greer was check and stall, and he had to get
Mhm.
off the ice because of a leg injury. And I that shoulder injury in the boards that did not look good.
Gosh, seriously.
That looked really bad, and it was totally, I wouldn't say self-imposed, but it was there.
Like you're seeing it
So
from Florida. Aaron Ekblad's on drugs, elbowing people. Matthew Kachuk is killing Jake Gensel.
allegedly.
Literally, and then you have people just throwing their bodies out in this series. It's surprising to me how like physical the series has gotten. I didn't even expect it. But when you got these big bodies coming at you, you gotta be ready. And man, I don't know. You need a better goaltender. And I just guess when it comes to the Eastern Conference Finals with Carolina, man, they just flip a switch and it's not on. That switch is off.
So that leaves us with only really one other series to talk about because all the rest of them are gone. It's the nice thing about the offseason is we're going to start doing some episodes to talk about some of these teams and what they can do to try to get to be the Final Four teams and what they need to do to get into the playoffs because there's a lot of teams that are hoping to be here. But Edmonton and Dallas. So we disagreed. I picked Florida. You picked Carolina, I believe, and
Hmm.
Florida's not making it. I blame Carolina more than I blame Florida on this one, but God bless Florida. I do think Dallas and Edmonton is going to be a longer series, although Edmonton was ahead and had controlled the game until the third period. Then the wheels on the bus fell off, and then last game 3-0 played all three periods, shut them out. I don't. I honestly, my opinion of Dallas is I don't even think Robertson's right. I think God only knows what he may have like an MCL. He may have something that he needs a surgery. That's what it looks
Yeah.
like to me because he doesn't look like he is an excellent player. Does not look like himself at all, and
And
he's
you see everybody,
trying.
yeah, you see everybody in the stands. Oh, 21, Robertson. You just see that in the stand. That shows you how good of a player he is and how many people idolize him. He doesn't have a single goal in these playoffs so far.
That injury he sustained in the last game of the regular season, he sat out for the Av series. I know he hustled to get back here. To me, they won't tell us the injury, but this just goes to back to like the basketball league and the NBA players going like, I had an injury that whole series. I'm watching him play and he is still making an impact as best he can, but he is not right. And
Mhm.
the next question that Edmonton feels like they want it. Edmonton feels like they lost it. And I don't know what it is about the Western Conference final and that Dallas teams. This is the third year in a row. Maybe they can get over the hump, but man, you have Florida waiting for you. So whoever's going to go to the Cup final, you're going to have to
Yeah,
break.
dude, you don't know how convinced I still am on Dallas. It's been 5 years, Eastern Conference Finals, can't get a cup. They've got the full squad now. They've got Mikko Rantanen. He has not made an impact on this team in a while now. It's been since like that hat trick in the Winnipeg series where I feel like he made a big impact. when he had those 2 goals. Now, you just need people to show up. Nobody showed up in that, what is he getting game 2 of this series? It's 3-0 and score. Dude, I just feel like they were getting pucks to the net. Stuart Skinner, when he goes into a game, I think he goes to himself and he says, shutout or below 800% save percentage. What are you talking
True.
about? Like, either get a shutout or play like, dude, he's like so bipolar, it annoys me. He either gets a shutout or he plays horrible. That game, he played amazing. He stole that game absolutely. I thought it was kind of even both sides. I feel like that game had nothing going. So now you're going back into Edmonton tied. Dallas needed to get one. They controlled that first game a lot. I loved how they bounced back. You see, you get these 2 power plays. You have to stay disciplined. It's in the third period, down 3-1. You have so many opportunities on the power play. They just capitalize. We have people like Mikael Granlund on there, Wyatt Johnston, everybody. Somebody's gonna do it. And that line where it was Matt Duchene and just all them on that like third line, I think. That's when they had to show up, and they did. They got 6 goals. Then they get the empty netter. They come back and strong. Then you come into game 2. You have Evan Bouchard showing up. You got everybody showing up for Edmonton, where you just saw Stuart Skinner just played out of his mind. I don't know how goalies do that. They just get a shutout and then they play horrible. But we're going back into Edmonton now. Series is tied up. What's your thoughts going into game 3?
I agree with your thoughts on Skinner. He looked amazing in 3 games. And in all reality, he looked really good in 2 periods. He had 1 bad period, and in all reality, Edmonton had a really bad period, and it was against the power play. And they literally just said we had a bad 20 minutes, and they just wiped it off, forgot about it. Then they went on to shut them out 3-0. Edmonton has the ability to make Dallas, and this is what shocks me about the Avs versus Dallas. I felt like the Avs had the speed to make Dallas's defense look less of themselves, but they did such a good job of clogging everything up. They do a really good job of that. But the thing that I think Edmonton has embraced that the Avalanche did not, Edmonton has given up on the pretty goal. The amount of times I see McDavid just throw a puck to people's skates in front of the ice or in front of the goaltender, he does that all the time.
And he can do it.
He's just looking for a nice bounce. He ain't looking for pretty. Before, like 2 years ago, he was looking for pretty. He was trying to make all the
Now
plays.
he just wants it, and he's like confirming that goal. You have Nugent Hopkins on there, Dak Hyman, Leon Draisaitl, Evan Bouchard, Connor McDavid, all in one power play. It's so hard to stop. I feel like when you have a great defense, you got Thomas Harley, Miro Heiskanen, Esa Lindell, Cody Ceci, a great decor. It's a great matchup. It's a great penalty kill and power play. But I think Edmonton has to start capitalizing on that power play way more, because I am not seeing it at all from them. I feel like, and then when it's on the penalty kill, it's like 67%. It's going in. So it's bad. They need to do better on these special teams if it comes to penalty kill or power play. They have the D core to stop Dallas. They have the offensive core to get it to the net. I feel like they have a great energy in Edmonton. They're going to capitalize in Edmonton. And I think that's just where they get their energy from. They sometimes crumble under pressure when they're in like Dallas, which you saw in that third period. That's when you got to play in these big games. So now Dallas going into Edmonton, I don't think Dallas is gonna go down 2-1. They don't want to be down, and especially when you're gonna try to like if they're up 2-1 in Edmonton, then if Edmonton's up 2-1 in Edmonton, then they could be up 3-1 in Edmonton, going back to Dallas, which Dallas wants none of that. And just what I feel like, I know we said Robertson has to step up. You're not seeing it from him, and I don't think he's gonna step up. I had him for a goal. He can't do anything. You see, just all the other guys are getting points. You know who's not getting points now, though? Mikko Rantanen. He was a superstar at the end of that series in the Avs series.
Do you
Now,
think do you think that he used up all of it because he was on an epic, an
I hope
epic
not,
run
because
because
he was doing
he's been
fabulous, and he's a great player.
he's MIA.
Now you just don't see him much. You don't see a lot of these players performing that great. Wyatt Johnson has kind of turned off that switch with Mikko Rantanen. But I feel like you've been seeing it from the defense a lot more. Thomas Harley's playing great, but so is Miro Heiskanen, because he's went back with Jason Robertson. He has played much better than Jason Robertson. He's got goals, he's got assists. He's a star player, and he's like a big body. You can get him on the ice anytime, and he's an offensive defenseman. That's what I love about him. Coming back from an injury, that's just what Jason Robertson hasn't been doing. And those key players you're depending on, you can't leave it up to like Tyler Sagan or like Jamie Benn, these old guys that are just in the back and the depth of your lineup. I feel like Mikko Rantanen has to step up, which I didn't feel like I'd be saying that. He just has to step up in Edmonton.
It's interesting because when I watch these teams, I feel like they're very much can come out of Edmonton 2-2. I can also see Edmonton coming ahead 3-1. I don't see Dallas coming out of their 3-1. Edmonton, to me, it just feels to me that they're figuring out the graph. Like they started against the Kings, like, oh, we're in the playoffs. Okay, we got to turn it up. And they turned it up against the Kings, and they just ran away with it against the Knights. I mean, they just ran away with it against the Knights. The last 2 games against the Knights, they looked awesome. And the 2 games against Dallas, 5 periods are the better team. So the question is, like, does Dallas? They're really good at stealing some games. I'm not saying they stole game 1; they got on a roll. But we'll see who. No one to me has stolen a game. I don't feel like Edmonton had game 1 in the bag. It was 3-1. It was close. And then they had power play after power play. I feel Dallas was the better overall team. I felt game 2, Edmonton was the better team. I haven't felt like anyone has stolen a game, and that's going to be the key. If Dallas steals a game in Edmonton, or Edmonton steals a game in Edmonton, that's going to be the momentum boost that either team needs. The point that I want to talk about, especially when we're talking about offseason moves for teams, you brought it up, offensive defensemen. Throughout this season, there are certain defensemen that are excellent on offense. The key that I'm noticing in the playoffs is the defensemen are taking smarter chances and the forwards are watching their back. The coaches that have allowed their defenders to take the momentum of when they have a puck and they have a chance, they don't just allow them to do something and get back on defense. They want them to take that all the way in and try to score, which is why you're seeing these defenders score more often. In a regular season, you're not going to do that. Let your offensive players do that. The problem that I see when I look at the teams that are relying on your 3 offensive players, your defenders have got to play a key role to getting you into the next round. They are the key to like demoralizing you. When the defenders for Edmonton or the third line are scoring, it's demoralizing. Florida having the defender next to the goalie, and then also not allowing you to have a 2-on-1 because they're disciplined enough to play defense. They're not all in the wrong position all the time. When I look at that from my perspective, that's the coaching theory to this. And I loved what the Florida Panthers coach said. They were in the interview mid-game, which we all don't love, but he was like, I love ugly goals. I love them. I'm off of a shin pad, off of an elbow pad, off of an elbow, off of a rib, off of a pant leg. That's how you score, and we love those. That's the part to me that I think Edmonton figured out last year losing to Florida. They figured out ugly goals win, and you need to have ugly goals. Their speed is excellent. They still have beautiful goals, don't get me wrong. But Edmonton has embraced ugly goal mentality. Dallas also embraces the ugly goal mentality, and you've seen that in their overtimes. They don't care. They just get it done. That's the part to me when I look at a team like the Avalanche, why they're not here. Avalanche, they're trying to get the pretty cutesy goals because they have pretty cutesy players, and they have the guys to not be pretty and cutesy, but it's the reason why they didn't beat the Dallas Stars. And I can say the same about the Golden Knights. You just didn't have enough of the dirty goals that you're used to. And when you're not getting the dirty goals or the bounces, it just demoralizes you. So I see Edmonton, Dallas 2-2 going back to Dallas. I could see Edmonton up 3-1. My hope is it's 3-1 Edmonton, because this sweep in Florida, I feel they're going to have, like, I'm looking at the calendar. What are we in? We're not even a Memorial weekend. Like last year, this year, this time, we didn't have a 3-0 lead.
Hmm.
We didn't have this happening.
Exactly. So
So
yeah.
you're gonna have well, tomorrow, no, yeah, Monday, Memorial Day, you're gonna have Florida knocking them out. The other thing, who do you think is the advantage for the quick turnaround? Because I think the quick turnaround is an advantage for Edmonton, because I feel like Edmonton has a deeper, faster line, and Dallas's
Hmm.
injuries, I just feel it's too. I would sit Robertson in game 3. If you have my opinion, you fly
Hmm.
a day and then you're playing like at noon, you're playing like a day game.
Yeah, they're like they don't have any time to rest, any time to practice at all. They're just going straight on the ice, and you don't even know if Rope Hintz is gonna be on there. So that he's a huge factor. You need him to perform. You don't have him on the ice; it's huge. But I feel like both of these teams have had just devastating losses. Where you're putting your all, and it's these key players where you need to put in your all, and have been with this team, and Jamie Benn and Corey Perry, these longtime players. It's going to be so great, and I just hope it is, because in these series you haven't been seeing a lot of goals because the goaltenders have stepped up. It's sad. The goaltenders have been like either just getting shutouts or just letting up the ugly goals go in, which my heart and my head, I just want to see a lot of just great plays and a high scoring games, and just to be electric. I have the series going 2-2. It's such a close series. It's not even funny. Seriously, you got Edmonton going crazy. They lost in the cup last year, but even though for Edmonton, you have Evander Kane, which just came through. He has a great 2 goals. Dude, I love when it comes out of the Rolls
And
Royce.
so,
It's great. It's
hold on,
funny.
I'm going to pause you for a second. In your mind, when you see the two teams of Dallas and you see Edmonton, if you don't want another Florida Stanley Cup champion, when you look at these two teams in your mind, who has a better shot against Florida with their injuries
Who's a
mounting?
better shot against Florida?
Yeah.
It depends.
I know right now in your mind, who do you feel is playing in the way that you're like this? Because to me, it's Edmonton. Like to me,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
don't want to say it though.
Evander Kane playing against Kachuk. Like I want that. I
Like I'm
want to see
saying,
those
like
guys
these
battle.
guys, like like Connor Brown, Kapanen, guys
I'm
are
just
stepping
telling
up.
you, it's right. It's right in front of you. It's like I'm not telling you to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm not telling you got to go into the quiet, deep night of recession, deep sleep of like the Mr. Jones's Kool-Aid. But the
I feel
Kool-Aid
like
to me says we got to have a rematch. It's destined for a rematch, and I think Canada's going to come home with the cup
I
this
feel
year.
like I feel like Edmonton is. They have like an edge to come with it and beat Panthers. But you would know what I also feel like? You haven't seen Dallas's full potential in this series. And when you
And
see them come to full potential, they got guys like Matt Duchene, a great player. The decor, like I've said, right? And then just match up with an even better team in Edmonton Oilers. Man, it's just so
so
close.
I'm just gonna let you know we're game 3. We're going into game 3, and you're talking about potential. That's like after your midterm at school and you're like, hey, you have a potential of an A, but you're sitting at a solid C, my man.
Dude,
Sooner or later, the potential has got to come up to the top and you got to have production. I can tell you right now, the teams that have a lot of potential, St. Louis Blues, Winnipeg
I
Jets,
feel like I
Golden
feel like Dallas
Knights,
is just gonna do it, dude. I just want
come,
Dallas to come up. I want Makar Brown to score. I want Miko
you,
Rantanen to get into the net. I want fights. I want a game 7 overtime. This is what I want. Is what I need in my life, bro. So I'm gonna go crazy because I feel like this
we,
goaltenders have been taking it up. So like I've been saying, like oh, Vander Kane coming up, Connor Brown's here. You got all this depth for Edmonton. I want everybody showing up. Dude, I just like I'm fiending for like a game 7 right now. And what I feel like is going to happen, Dallas takes this game tomorrow. I feel like Dallas is going to show up. Edmonton's going to get too excited in this game. You're going to shut them up. But of course, Edmonton's going to win game 4. Okay. Then we'll see what happens. But when you go into Edmonton, you have to be prepared. You have to be ready. Hockey fans in Canada will die for their team. You're going to go. You get crazy.
Edmonton will burn.
Yeah, and like
And
you saw it last year too. It was the same exact series, but when you got guys like Miko Rantanen now, dude, uh,
here's what's crazy to me about
ice.
Canada. This is the crazy part about Canada. When you look at the bracket, you could have had Winnipeg, Edmonton, right? You could have. You could have had Toronto. I mean, when you look at this, you could have had Toronto versus Montreal.
But it would have, should have.
Ottawa as well. Ottawa's the first round out. Ottawa, if they don't face Toronto, I think Ottawa's getting better. So you could have had a Final Four of Canada. So let's talk about potential. Put away the potential. To me, I just feel like there's a sense of focus and purpose with Edmonton. Now, can Florida
Right now,
beat them?
I feel like Edmonton's on a mission. That's what I feel like. Not in potential ways, but what I'm seeing in their game right now, I'm seeing a lot of like they're on a mission and they want it, and they want it more than anybody else.
When did
I
you
feel like
ever
Dallas
see?
should want.
When did you ever see an Edmonton team playing this well defensively? In all reality, I mean, 3 shutouts. They had
1987.
right. Their last 4 games, they have 3 shutouts.
It's crazy, and that's just not
Like,
all on Stuart Skinner. Who's there?
Who had it? Who had that predicted? So, like if they continue to play like that, let me tell you, this is a 5-game series.
And I just feel like they're quiet about it. Like they're silent killers.
Yes,
Like,
they're not. They are not talking smacks. They're not trying. Again, they're not. You're not seeing them like I see Florida. Like Florida's going to try to murder Carolina in the next game for the injuries.
Yeah.
Like they're looking at their guys to get hurt. They're like, we're going to murder you. Edmonton's like, we're not interested in murder. We're not interested in assaults. We're just going to beat you. We're going to play solid hockey for 60 minutes, and then we'll see where the chips lie. And we trust that we will have enough plays to score enough goals to beat you. And so far, they're not wrong. And if they continue that mentality, I'm excited. I'm excited about this.
But
And for all the people, I have to give shout outs. There are companies that I work with. There's companies like Capital Power that I work with that are based out of Edmonton. There are people that have, like my business partner, Sean, have gone to school with him out of Edmonton. When I say the city will shut down, I'm saying everything will come to a halt. That is great for them. I'm cheering for them. Because guess what? If Dallas wins, they're going to go back to like, oh, we won, but I got my Fire Nico. I put my Fire Nico shirt on. And the other thing that's the most annoying thing about Dallas fans, could you get any more desperate housewives on the ice, for goodness sakes, with all their stupid rhinestone outfits, jumping up and down? First time I've been, get out of here.
Like, I feel like Dallas should show more heart. They should want it more than Edmonton wants it. Okay, Edmonton made it to the cup, all right, and they lost. Connor McDavid, he's the GOAT. You've made it to the Eastern Conference Finals in these 5 years, but 4 times. You made it to the cup, whatever. When that happens to you, when you're not winning a cup, since Mike Modano was playing, that's where I feel like you need to show up and do something about it. You can't be slowing your game. Like, you've been seeing it from Dallas, and I feel like they were, like, the game, they didn't put up any goals. That's because, and I feel like Oilers, they just put up that silent killer method, and they're just like, they're on a mission, they want it, and they're just clogging up, and they want it more than Dallas.
They did it for you and me. They did it because we didn't want to see any more of the desperate housewives cheering in the stands.
No, man,
Game 1 was brutal because every power play goal, they focus on those ladies that are just so great, we won. And you're like, you've never watched hockey. You don't even know where the puck is half the time.
They don't know
Stop
what
it.
they don't know what sport it is right now.
They're like, look at, I made a cute outfit. I it's green. Our colors are green, right?
Oh my goodness.
They got worse since last year. Last year they were more authentic because those ladies looked at the Dallas Mavericks games. They were too busy going to the Dallas Mavs game. Now they're like, well, what's the Stars? Okay, I'm going to get tickets to the Stars because I'm really wealthy.
And it's like, be with me here. Don't you want it to be as electric as like 2015 and like 2017? Don't you want it to be like that?
The one cup. Yes. Okay. I agree with you. I want it to be electric. The one cup that I think was great was watching Washington win it in Vegas because of the Vegas fans.
It was a great series, and it was great, like, watching, like, Vegas, like, as a new team. Obviously, that was the worst thing I've ever watched in my whole entire life, and I wanted to bawl my eyes out because you had Penguins back to back.
But again, it was, to me, watching Edmonton, watching the Golden Knights win, watching Tampa do what Tampa did. I feel like Tampa's more an authentic fan base than Florida. to your
Mhm.
point about the Yankee hat, although we'll get to interview some people. So we need everyone to like and subscribe here. Once we get above 50, we can do some live feeds from the finale, from the final.
Yep.
So we got to get the schedule for the Stanley Cup. Well, we're going to end up in Miami. I was looking forward to seeing Carolina, but they
Hey,
are
guess
not
what?
interested in
It's
hosting us.
never over till it's over. And I'm just gonna say,
Is this what your dog barks and it's like it's over?
uh, I'm manifesting it right now. You're gonna
But
see the best comeback of all time. Dude, they've had
really,
it. They've lost so many straight, dude. It's gonna be great. It'll be so electric, dog. And then watch this. I'm gonna say this is
who,
gonna happen. Boom, they get swept. 5
who
nothing
is
in the
that?
next game.
So how many of Florida's players have to get hurt for this to occur?
So
How many?
you know who you need to get hurt? Matthew
Yes,
Kachuk, kill him. Seth Jones, kill him. Everybody
they're not.
gone.
They're not. Kachuk is so big. They're not touching him. They're
Dude,
not
do you think
touching.
how many stops? Over under 20 stops in the game from fighting the next game.
Oh, the next game, especially at the end, they really hate each other, and especially because Florida knows that they're not going to play. They're not going to play for like a week and a half. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, it's like, yeah, they're really mad. I would say you're going to see at least 3 fights, especially if it gets out of hand, and I think it will.
Definitely. Who do you think's like the big enforcer for you know what? I think it's definitely
No,
like Aaron Ekblad, but
I agree with you, but I think you're going to see Bennett fight. I think you're going to see Kachuk fight. Both of those boys want to fight the big guys in Carolina
oh
because
yeah.
the only way you can fight an Aho and these bigger guys is you have to take your big guys against them. And I trust the
You know
Florida
who I
big
want to
guys
see
over the
fight? You know who
Carolina.
I want to see my grandpa fight, Mr. Brent Burns. He's 40. Dude, when he fights, he's gonna be like this. He's gonna do a little
No. He's going to come down. He comes down on your head.
You know he's like 6'7". He's
Who-
insanely
Yeah.
tall.
Who was the really tall guy who used to play for Boston?
No,
Six
Zdeno
foot
Chara.
man. Did you see him fight back in the day? No, look it up on YouTube. Everybody, all of our fans, you too, look up his fights. He didn't have a lot. They're not even fair. They're not even. He holds them so far away from him, and then he brings them in because he's so strong to pound them.
Dude, you
It's
know
not
who was
even
the guy?
fair.
Dude, you know who fights for Carolina? Andrei Svechnikov. He was fighting in that game. He was going
Yeah.
crazy, and he did it to Alex Ovechkin too. Don't get me wrong, Alex Ovechkin absolutely threw him down. But
But
still, he's a
That's
he's a
great.
fighter.
I love the heart, but guess what? When you're getting blown out, I mean blown out, like you don't even belong there.
You need to
I
show
don't care.
something.
Yeah, you're showing me that next year you're going to get blown out again. Don't make the playoffs next year. Save us all the heartache.
What do you
I
want
wa-
to see? What do you want to see that can actually make it?
Oh, let's get the Rangers in there. Let's get the Islanders in there. Let's get the
Ew,
Penguins in there.
stop.
Let's
Yeah,
get
I
Detroit in
live
there.
here.
Let's
Dude,
get
thank you.
let's get all of the authentically old school teams. Is Chicago anywhere close? Is any of these teams close to getting to a playoff?
You know what I
Show me,
want?
show me. I want to see some Detroit blood again. Like
I want to see
give me some
Detroit and
Red
Penguins.
Wings.
I want to see Detroit and Penguins. The 2008-09.
I think
Dude, that would be great.
it would be great. I think Detroit, and the Detroit Islanders and the Rangers are the closest. Based on
Islanders
my
are not doing it.
offseason review.
Their whole team's washed. Rangers could do it. I believe Rangers can make a huge run. Imagine
Yes,
Crosby
they got the
getting one
coach.
more. Dude, Crosby's getting one last run.
You guys, you kids are just hilarious. Anyways, we've gone way too long. For those that do follow us, we appreciate you. We appreciate you coming to our homily, our remembrance of Carolina. We lit a couple candles. We'll go to church tomorrow. We'll see who wins the Edmonton matchup. I feel like it's advantage Edmonton, big time game 3, not much time on the travel. I feel like Edmonton's going to have a huge advantage tomorrow. We will see. We'll have some more podcasts here this week, and then we'll start going over some teams. So you'll see short segments about teams in the offseason, and you get to check out your team. I'm your host, Brendan, and that is Nick. As always, this is Shorthanded. Like, subscribe. We'd love to hear your comments about Carolina and what you're drinking. What are you drinking in Memorial for Carolina? Because it's an open bar, so I want to know what your drink of choice for Carolina. Are you doing a really bad natty light? Such a bad series.
I'm gonna smoke on that floor on Florida when Carolina comes back. 3-0.
So if we have to do a homily, if we have to do a funeral for Florida, I may be laughing the whole time. I will laugh the whole time because I'll be like, did their bus get in an accident? Did something happen? Like, I wouldn't even fly back to Carolina if they lost game 4. I'd just take a bus. That's what I would do if I was a coach. I'm like,
Gosh.
listen, I'm not booking an airliner. We're taking a bus the whole way if you lose. Look out. Black suit's coming on Monday.
Oh, this is a joke.
He's going for a black suit Monday. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Bye now.